So, as usual, before we begin, a quick note this video, like the ones before it, is not academic research or clinical psychology. It's part of like an ongoing personal exploration where I'm trying to understand ideas like nihilism, meaning, and change, and in this video specifically, how they play out not just for individuals, but society as a whole. Do keep in mind that I am learning video creation and editing as I go, so thanks in advance for your patience if the production is not perfect. I am not an expert in sociology, psychology, AI, or anything like that. I'm somebody who's thinking out loud and connecting dots where I can. And I honestly invite others to do the same, and please come up with your criticisms. These are questions and ideas, not conclusions. If you find like any of these ideas unsettling, provocative, or disturbing, that's okay. The goal here isn't to give answers, it's an open space for conversation. And as always, if you're dealing with depression, burnout, or existential distress, please reach out to someone who's qualified, like a qualified therapist or doctor. These topics are heavy, and you don't have to carry them alone. So if you look for someone to talk to, make sure it's someone who can give you qualified answers. All right, well, with that out of the way, let's jump in. So I'm going to be as quick as possible into jumping into this segment in the series. But first, let's do a quick recap. So in the first video, and you'll find links for these videos maybe here, maybe there. I don't know. It's like a game. You can guess. But I'll also leave links in the description. In the first video, we kind of defined what nihilism was in a passing way, not in an in-depth way, and how I felt about nihilism, and asked important questions and gave anecdotes as to what nihilistic depression can feel like. And in the second video, we kind of went into Carl Jung and the dark night of the soul, and the dark sea journey, and described what they call the period of meaninglessness, intense questioning. You fold inwards, and you usually gain personal growth from this. Now, like as I stated before, my education travels brought me to the two ideas presenting themselves simultaneously, the dark night of the soul and nihilism, and I began to ask if nihilism was maybe a necessary function for finding meaning. At this point, I laid out 3 stages that one might go through when learning to find meaning. The first stage, the cradle into the void, would be you as an infant in a cradle. You're listing in meaninglessness, and nothing has been defined for you. It's the absence of meaning that you're in this stage. If you manage to exit that stage, you face the calling and the struggle into free fall. Your ideas no longer hold up, and they begin to rot all around you. The first stage would be like a winter stage. The second stage would be like a spring stage, where you are in a very chaotic place in the spring. Everything is melting and washing away. Things are rotting and reinvigorating the soil for new growth and making space for things to grow once again. The last stage would be the emergence, the meaning redefined. You're at your peak openness for new ideas here, and you're at risk of too many ideas hitting you, but also bad ideas moving in. At this point, you may also start building your own ideas. This is a highly creative period for you, and it's more like, I guess you could call it the summer stage. So in this context, I asked if nihilism is a catalyst for meaning then. How can you have meaning or existentialism or the search for meaning unless you face first the void, the meaninglessness, and then build an answer for it? I asked in the end, if we started accepting moments of nihilism and challenging the morals around us, what would happen to society as a whole. And that brings us right back to Dr. Jung and his theory on the collective unconscious. So, like, what is the collective unconscious? Sounds kind of spooky. Well, you could define it as something people share, like a large group of people, like, I don't know, a nation maybe? Or it's not like we're going to pick on anyone in particular for this. Anyway, moving on. So like a nation, and they share a collective history, feelings, ideas, and stuff together. And all of this has been passed down from one generation over the other, where they share a collective memory and unconsciousness together. Now, could it be possible in this case that an entire nation could go through this dark night of the soul? Or even like humanity as a whole? Well, let's stick to a nation for now, because humanity's pretty big. But for instance, imagine a nation now brought up on the morals of hard work leading to prosperity. You go to school, you get a job, you climb the corporate ladder, you get a good retirement, you hug your grandchildren. You know, like they laid this path out for everyone to walk their way to prosperity, family, and success. How would this country, or this large group of people that's no specific group of people at all, deal with the future of AI moving into the workforce subconsciously? What kind of anxiety would start to plague these people as their path to happiness and success begins to deteriorate? Where would their mythos on the universe and happiness go? Would it begin to crumble? Like, we do see signs of this today. You know, we've all heard of the term quiet quitting. And if you actually look at like a workplace report, like Gallup's global workplace report, it's shown a low employment engagement, especially in younger demographics. So this path to success has been crumbling. The dreams of this country are under threat, and people are less engaged and incentivized by the traditional paths to happiness. So I'm just going to come out and say it. The American dream is under considerable threat. While people get more and more desperate to keep it alive, what would they be willing to do to keep that dream alive? How far would they be willing to go as the path to success and defined meaning by their institutions and religions begin to overall start to fail them? Where would they find meaning? What behaviors would they exhibit as a society? Who would they choose to put in charge of that society to save them from these problems? By problems, I mean how meaning is no longer defined as clearly, and maybe they scramble to try to get back to a traditional sense of meaning. How would this nation deal being stuck in a nihilistic depression? Like, from what I've been talking about, we would conclude that old ideas need to wash or burn off. New forms of meaning would need to be discovered and new ways of living contemplated. Or maybe they would begin to act out violently, blaming others in the world around them as their surroundings look less and less familiar. They no longer have meaning clearly defined. And like, we can see that this has happened long before the manifestation of AI. The ideas of engaging in the workforce have been under threat for a while now. But how would this nation also fare if they embraced this moment of nihilism and sat in it for a time? Would it allow them to eventually grow into something else as they struggled to redefine what was meaningful? I've contemplated this for a while, And the only conclusion I've come to is that I'm beginning to get out of my depth. At this point, I'm reaching the limits of my abilities to ask and answer such questions as we see them happening in real time. So I'll leave that discussion to someone far more qualified. But even if you're from up there or over there or down there, it doesn't matter. This issue is affecting the entire world. AI is not just going to happen here. It's going to happen everywhere. But a lack of defined meaning is kind of sweeping over everyone. We're kind of going through a shared nihilistic moment, in my opinion, in all of humanity right now. It's just happening really loud here. Like really loud. Whew. We've covered a lot in this so far, so I'm going to sum up to this point. To sum up, I'm wondering if nihilism is the terrible ideology that some notable figures have made it out to be. But at the same time, I also question if it's the way of life that others have chosen to live by. What if nihilism was never meant to be a permanent belief structure, but a momentary period of inner reflection, where ideas and inner dialogue is challenged? Old ideas are washed off or even burned away. I guess I would describe it as this period of resting turmoil. If we didn't have the meaninglessness of nihilism confront us from time to time, we would never define what we value or be open to new values. If we never question meaning, how can we ever define what is meaningful? If we never clear the slate, how can we ever take on new meaning? So what if we were to flip nihilism on its head and state that nihilism is the beginning of new? It's like a place where your next adventure in life takes place or begins, where you respond properly to it and put in the effort and engage in the worthy cause of inner work, and you begin to take on new meaning. So ultimately, what I'm saying is, what if nihilism is the cradle of meaning? That's all I've got. I have been working on this for weeks. I don't know if these ideas are even any good, and to be honest with you, I am quite anxious as to the response I'm going to get on them. Even now, I question if I should ever post this or just keep it to myself. Given the platform that I talk from, I feel like a lot of people won't take me seriously. I kind of use this platform as a place for creative expression, but I don't know if you guys know who Deadmau5 is, but I remember the best piece of advice I ever heard him say is, if you can't face a crowd, just put on an effing helmet. So I kind of use this as my helmet. I can face everyone and, talk freely, but behind a mask. And I hope you can understand that. I really want to make this a space for free thinking and to propose ideas. And you're all welcome to poke holes in my ideas and come up with criticisms. And a lot of people don't know this, but the greatest respect that you can give someone is to criticize their ideas, to enable them to work more on their ideas and make them more rounded out and fuller. But please, 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 be respectful in the comment dumpster fire. Try not to belittle anyone or me. I am quite anxious about putting these ideas out, so let's not make it personal or political. Let's keep it to the theories that I've put out. Either way, more commentary is going to come on this. I'm obviously going to keep working on this as time goes on and I continue my reading into various philosophical and psychological fields. So I'll be expanding on this and adding to this series, The Cradle of Meaning. But I do plan on making this channel about different stuff, like including personal experiences over my life. Like, for example, how a Clash of Clans commercial almost landed me in the Grippy Sock Hotel. And how the Blacksmith and Whiterun inadvertently got me out of it. That was a wild ride. I was malnourished and I was underslept. I'm pretty sure I was hallucinating, but that was like a wild ride. And ultimately, that whole experience led me to a paradise-like place that awakened me intellectually. So that would be a story if you guys are willing to hear it. So if you like what I'm putting out here and, you know, you want to see more as I talk about VR chat as a platform and stuff like that, and not just like this place sucks, but actually showing a brighter side of VR chat, do all the things like, you know, the flick, smash, drop, kick, bing, bow, like that all the tubers tell us to do. And I appreciate you sticking through this with me and look forward to reading your thoughts. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye.